Hi everyone, welcome back to Bust a Rime. I think Iggy's been taking something. She's looking a little wacky. Missy has hypothermia, and Chuck D has hypothermia. He's over here. Why is there so much darned water over here? Yeah, this should be turned off now. We don't need any more water. I think they've been putting bottled water in there just from stuff that we've mopped up. I need to pay better attention to that. Okay, and some of it will freeze when it gets down here. But on the whole, if we look at our temperatures, we've got nice warm water, and we're piping it throughout the base. As you can see there, we've got a nice heating loop which goes back in. And I don't want to jinx myself or speak too soon, but I feel like at this point we've got the major problem of rime pretty much solved. Right. The big challenge we're presented with is that it's rather cold from the beginning, and that makes it hard to grow crops for food. Well, we're growing crops, things are warm, and as long as we continue to have electricity, there shouldn't be any interruption to that. So at this point, we can kind of develop the rest of the base normally, I would say. You know, there could be some surprises waiting for me, but that's what I'm going to do. All right, now I've started setting up some ranches, and we'll get to that. But what I wanted to do with this water, right now our heating loop requires that the water runs continuously, with this pump running continuously. And I would like to automate this a little bit so that we can only run it when we want to, based on the temperature that we're getting inside the base. So up here it's about 17 degrees on average. Over here, close to where the water is, it's quite warm. You know, and that's where we've got our cook and everything as well. So what I wanted to do is use this liquid reservoir, pump warm water into the reservoir, and then just have the water circulate through the reservoir until the temperature of the water has fallen to a certain point. Once that happens, we'll put the cold water back in the tank and then fill this back up with more warm water. That's the concept. Oh, what happened to these guys? They look happy. What's up? I don't know what just happened, but that was neat. Okay, I still have a lot to learn about this game. All right, so what we'll do... I don't want to completely fill the reservoir. It'll hold 5 tons, I think. Yeah, it'll hold 5 tons, which is equivalent to 5 tiles of water. So about that much. There's not really an easy way to limit it. I guess I'll just let it fill up. That's fine. Okay. So first of all, let's divert the outgoing water to go into the reservoir. And what I'll do is I will monitor the temperature of the water that is returning. If the returning water is warm enough, say above 20 C, or above 25 C, for example, we'll just have it just continue to circulate from the reservoir. Because once the reservoir is full, it'll automatically pump out the water without any electricity. And then if the temperature of the incoming water drops below that threshold, then we'll send it out here. That'll allow more water, more warm water, to be pumped into the tank, and then that will circulate. Hope that makes sense. Okay, so we'll start building this here, and then I'm going to cut that pipe there. Okay. All right, so that'll start to fill up the reservoir with nice warm water, 30 degrees. All right, so under plumbing, I have a liquid pipe thermal sensor, which I'm going to place right there. And this might actually turn out to be even easier than I thought. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to need to cut those pipes. Because what I want to do is I want to put a liquid bridge here, because the bridge always gets priority. So this way when the vent is open, the water will go there first. And if it's not open, then it'll come out here. And it's going to return. It should return to the tank. Okay, so I'm going to need to make some priority adjustments here as well, right? Okay, so let's cut that pipe. Let's cut those two pipes also. Okay, so same thing there. Bridge is prioritized. Otherwise, it'll take water from the pump. Okay, and so we'll set this to activate. If the water, we want this to open if the water is below 25C. Otherwise, we'll continue to circulate the water. Okay. And the piping there, we can set up like this. And I think that should do it. It seems, well, it's a little more complicated than I originally thought, just because we have to use the bridges to prioritize the flow. Okay, see, now this is exactly the opposite of what I wanted to happen. So I've got that part of it all wrong. So let's deconstruct that. Okay. So on the return, I want the return line to go... No. Sorry, guys. I still get a little confused with this. I want the line from the pump to go through the bridge. Okay, so delete that. Because flowing out, the bridge gets priority. Why? Okay, a lot more pipe disappeared than I wanted to. it's all flowing the wrong way. Okay. Let's deconstruct that bridge. What if I just do... Yeah, what if I just do that? No, see, this has to be... Why isn't this working? This has to be going in as the priority. I think I need another bridge to... I don't know. Give me a minute. Okay. I got the prioritization working. Jeez. It's not terribly intuitive, but the returning water goes into this liquid bridge, and it's hard to see, but it comes out here. Okay. And then the water from the pump goes into this liquid bridge, which comes out in front of this one. So if this one already has the pipe full, then this liquid bridge will not be able to put anything else in the pipe. So that way, the water from the line is prioritized over the water from the pump. And that way, we don't have to fill the whole tank. So the tank will get more water when this valve opens, because then this pipe is not going to be full anymore. Okay, so there's one more thing that I want to do with that. I think I need another liquid bridge, and this might make it not work again. I don't know. All right. Let's delete those pipes. Okay, all right. All right, so now it's coming in from the pump again. So I want to make sure that the water goes through here first, if it can. And if not, then it should come out here. Okay, please hurry up. I really don't want that reservoir to full. Of course. Of course it's lunchtime. There we go. Okay. Alright. So let's test it now. So this will open if the water drops below 25 degrees. So let's change it to 30 just so we can see if it works the way that we want it to. Yes. Okay. Great. So now the water gets dumped out. More warm water goes in. Perfect. Now if I change that back to 25. I still have cold water coming in. Okay, which is fine. Probably because it sat in the pipes for a little bit while I was fixing this. Okay, now it's starting to warm up again. Five, 24. Just want to see where the temperature is dropping the most. Okay, so the average temperature will gradually increase. Maybe I need to just set this to a lower temperature because with 30-degree water, maybe it's never going to get above 25. So let's make it 22, for example. Well, and the other thing is I suppose it'll take a while for because the average temperature in this tank is going to slowly drop over time. But that could be very slow too, since it's submerged in water, in nice warm water. It might not change much, and that would be ideal because then I don't have to run this pump at all. Right? The less I need to run this pump, then the better that is. Okay, so now this is somewhat automatic, and it'll use much less power to keep running than it was before. So I feel pretty good about that. I think we still wanted a farmer, right? Let me see. Because I think we're using our gopher as a farmer. Yeah, so we still want a farmer. Professor X, we're a long way from needing astronomy. So I'll give him exosuits. That'll give him more athletics. We don't have exosuits yet, but I would like to get them pretty soon. Let's check research and see what we want to go for next. Getting up to steam turbines would be good. Plastic, I don't feel that we need terribly soon. Okay, yeah, let's do hazard protection, so we'll get exosuits. Start working our way towards doing that, and that'll help us explore and build things outside of our core base. Didn't we just do this? Okay, here's digging and ranching with diver's lungs. Unconstructive is not very good. I'm not terribly interested in dupes that can't build anything. I think I'm going to wait. This one too. Cooking and digging. This is actually a pretty good... She's a pretty solid dupe there. No taste, diver's lungs, cooking and digging. But I've already got a good cook, right? Yeah. Okay. I think I'm gonna pass. Like I said, I'm gonna be kind of picky about the dupes we bring on board, because I don't plan on killing any of them off, and I want to make sure that we get really good ones, because we're gonna be living with them for a long time. Okay, so let's talk about ranching. So with the size of this base, we've got 16 by 4 tiles, which is what is that? 64 tiles, 64 square tiles. Each hatch needs 12 to avoid feeling cramped. So that means 12 times 5 is 60, so you can just fit 5 dupes or 5 hatches into a stable this size. So that's why I've limited these to hold 5, and we're just collecting hatches and hatchlings. I would like to get stone hatches, but for stone hatches we need sedimentary rock, and I don't think there's any sedimentary rock on this map. Oh, there is. Okay, good. Yeah, there is, because we do have slime biomes, don't we? Wonderful. I'm playing on another map. Yeah, in fact, there's some right here. Awesome. All right, so let's start to dig that out. Okay, that's a relief, because I was thinking that we would not be able to get sedimentary rock. But we can, and that's good news. Okay, so I want to start feeding these hatches. I have been feeding them sandstone. The problem with regular hatches is that if you give them, is that you can only feed them, if you don't have sedimentary rock, you can only feed them stuff like dirt, sand, and sandstone, which are in somewhat limited supply. I mean, I have a ton of sandstone now, but it doesn't last forever. Whereas if we turn these into stone hatches can eat just about any mineral that you find on the map. Igneous rock, granite, all that kind of stuff. So they're much easier to feed long term. So once we dig up the sedimentary rock, and I wonder if I should put a second feeder. I would like them to eat sedimentary rock until it runs out, and then eat something else otherwise. But there's no, I don't think there's any way to automate that right now. I'm sure we could figure out a way once I have all the tech unlocked. Okay. So I'm gonna change these feeders to start feeding sedimentary rock. The reason for that being that when they have sedimentary rock, when hatches eat sedimentary rock, it increases their chance to lay stone hatch eggs instead of more hatch eggs. Right? So if they eat sedimentary rock, it increases the chance to lay stone hatch eggs, and then we can eventually switch this all over to stone hatches, which, as I said, we can feed just about any mineral that's found on the map. So once we dig some up, then it should be available as an option here. Yeah, there we go. All right, so we're going to change that to sedimentary rock. Start feeding those. I'm going to need to sweep up the sandstone so that they don't eat that. The hatches are going to give us coal, which is great. That's what they poop coal. Now, in terms of numbers, for the short term, I'm going to have 8 dupes. And we're just gonna use them for eggs to begin with. Eventually we'll use them. Eventually we'll farm animals for meat, but for now we're just gonna use their eggs to make omelets. They each lay 1 egg every 6 cycles. An omelet has, let's see. I need to see how many calories an omelet has because I don't remember. Okay, an omelet has 2,800 calories, so each dupe needs to eat 1 omelet every 2.8 cycles to get the minimum 1,000 calories per day that they need. Like I said, they lay 1 egg every 6 cycles. We'll need at least 1 or 2 eggs to be incubated so that we can put new hatches in as the old ones die. So, to make a long story short, we need 20 hatches to sustainably feed 8 dupes with omelets. Okay, so I've got 10 now. I need twice what I have here. And again, as I mentioned before, the reason to have stone hatches instead of regular hatches is just because they're easier to feed. It's not because they're necessarily better in any other way. Okay, I am going to store slime in here. So I'm going to update these to hold slime and rot piles because they'll emit polluted oxygen. So I don't want the slime just laying around up here. Now, if it's warm enough, the slime will also emit slime lung germs, but because of the low temperatures here, we don't have to worry about slime lung. Okay, so I'd like to put 2 more ranches here. This power is in the way, so let's move that power station to begin with. So we'll build another niche down here. Oh, I'm going to need more ladder sections. There we go. Okay, and I'm just going to copy the same thing. This is where it would be nice if we had blueprints. Alright. Yeah, you know what? Oh, and there's another hatch. That's awesome. Let me put a bin in front first. And then that. And then the generators. I put the battery in between the generators because that's a shorter run of automated wire that we need to use in order to make that happen. Okay, copy the settings. These are both just holding coal. Alright, and this is going to connect to the main base power. This will connect to the generators and batteries. There's another smart battery. I'm running low on refined metal. I'll probably need to make some more soon. Actually, yeah. I'll let this build first and then I'll demolish this one up here. And remember, this one is just... what's the second one feeding? This one is just feeding the tepodizer, since that one uses a lot of power. So that's got its own dedicated little power supply. Okay, let's put in some automation wire. There. And that's about it. Alright, I think I will deconstruct that now. This is almost done. Our polluted water vent is idle because it's underwater, so it's not going to do anything else until we figure out something to do with it. I really can't think of a use for it right now, especially since we got this set up. Originally, I wanted to use this as my first source of warm water to heat the base, but we set up our own thing ahead of time, so it's no longer necessary. Okay, and then we'll start building our other two hatch ranches over here. Alright, so 2 grooming stations, critter drop off, so that when we wrangle the critters, the dupes know where they're supposed to go, and a feeder. And with ranches, you can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can have any old other stuff in there, any old kind of thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. Having machinery in with the animals doesn't negatively affect them like it does for other types of room bonuses. So I always see that as a good place to put my my storage bins. And then I'm going to put some incubators up here. I think up here is the best place for it, just because you can't put the incubators in with the hatches because the egg itself counts as a hatch. Right? So here I've got 5 critters, but there's also an egg, and because of that they feel cramped. These guys feel cramped too. Why is that? There's only 5. Huh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I wonder if there's an egg. Critter egg. Okay, I have some pip eggs there. There's 1 hatchling egg there. Oh, there's one in storage. Okay, so let's set these to not hold... Let's set these to not hold critter eggs. Where... What in God's name is going on here? Oh, the ice is melting. The ice is melting. That's where this water is coming from. Okay. Alright, we'll copy these settings. I'm going to copy these settings. Okay. Well, there's not much I can do about that. There's still one more piece of ice over there. Alright, so we're going to have a bit of water to clean up, unfortunately. That's all frozen. Okay. Alright, so let's set up our incubation. So they have a life cycle of 100 cycles. A lifespan of 100 cycles, excuse me. And an egg takes 20 cycles to hatch if you don't power your incubator, which I'm not planning to do because I don't want to use the electricity. So that means I need one incubator for every 5 hatches in order just to maintain the population. And in this case, I actually want to grow the population. So, alright. So I want to make sure I'm not cracking any eggs yet. So I'm going to set up 4 incubators. Because that's what I need to get to arrive at the population that I want. I need 4 incubators. And these are made out of refined metals. Yeah, I guess maybe I should just put those up here. Okay. So we'll set those so that anytime one of these guys lays an egg, it'll go up here to get turned into more hatches. Eventually, once we have all the hatches we need, then all the extra eggs we can start to turn into omelets. But for now, I'm going to sacrifice omelets for population growth. Because we can get by on the meal root for a little bit while longer. Or the meal lice, muck root. Can't talk very well today. I also want to build a drecko hatch, or a drecko ranch, which I'll get to next. Okay. Let's prioritize this so we can get it done. And one other thing that we can do to speed things up is I'll hook a manual generator up to one of the incubators. And I'll set it to a low priority. Actually, let's do a couple of those. Let's do 4. Wait, how much power do these make? That might be too much for... Yeah, they do... Okay, let's limit that to 2. That'll generate 800 watts, which can almost power all 4 incubators. Okay, so we'll set these to incubate hatchling eggs. I'll give them a priority of 7. And we'll set it to continuous, so whenever one is empty and there's an egg available, it'll go in there automatically. Okay, and then the generators I'm going to set to a priority of 4. So that way, if the dupes don't have anything else to do, they can hop on a generator, and the eggs, I think the eggs hatch in 5 cycles when the incubators are powered. Right, so that'll just speed up the population growth, and if they're not doing anything else, then they might as well spin the wheel. Okay, let's sweep these up, get everything nice and clean. And how much sedimentary rock do I have now? None. It's all in the feeders. So, we should seek out more of it. I'm going to see if I can find some without having to dig through too much slime or polluted water. And there's not much way to avoid that stuff altogether. Alright, but I can dig up here. Yeah, I mean, this is all sedimentary rock all through here. And I'll just, for now, we'll try to avoid the yucky stuff as much as we can, but before too much longer, we'll just need to jump in here with both feet and get our hands dirty and clean it all up. We'll also get gold amalgam from here, which is a useful material. Actually, let's dig to there. Let's dig all this up. One, 2, 3, 4, ladder. 1, 2, 3, 4, ladder. 1, 2, 3, 4, ladder. Okay, and this also gets us closer to our natural gas vent, which is nice. Okay, that's too high. So we'll dig that up. That'll give us a decent supply. And that also gives us clay, which we will be turning into ceramic later for insulated pipes and stuff. Okay, I don't see any ranching. Nope. Do I want sand? Let's see. Filtration medium, I have 142 tons. No, I'll pass. We do have more skill points. Chuck D's leveled up. We'll go for the level 3 on construction. I'm going to hold off on the hats for now. Okay, now let's take a look at the dreckos. Dreckos are good because those will give us reed fibers, which we can use to make exosuits. We can also harvest reed fibers, and we can grow reed fibers, so one of the things I want to do is get my hands on some thimble reeds. Those take 22 to 37 degrees, and they need polluted water to grow. But with just 2 or 3 of those plants, we can... that'll be enough to make lots of exosuits. Here's one. Yeah, see, this one's actually a little too warm. Oh, here's several of them, actually. Yeah, and these are all not growing right now because of the high temperatures from the steam vent. Which I don't care about right now, but we'll need to do something to contain all these vents before too long. Okay, so we'll have plenty of thimbleweed actually. Now the dreckos eat mealwood, and if you give them some hydrogen gas in the top of the stable, they will grow. They'll grow their coats, and then you can shear them. And with these dreckos, you'll get those fibers. And when they eat mealwood, they increase their chances to spawn a glossy drecklet. The glossy drecklets give you plastic instead of fibers. So it's a great way to get a little bit of plastic early in the game before you can manufacture your own. And I think I'd like to try to do that. Okay, so let's set up... Well, first let me see what temperatures they like. It doesn't say here. Okay. I'm curious about that because over here it's a little cold. Up here it's going to be warmer though. So we can... Let's put it over here. Alright, so we're going to build this. And then, again, we'll put a grooming station. Now, in this case... They need live mealwood plants. So it's got to be someplace that's warm enough to grow mealwood. And this place is not necessarily like that. And I am warming things up right here. I wonder if it will get warm enough over here. Well, I can put a heater. That uses up power though, doesn't it? Really would prefer not to have to do that. Well, let's put it over here, and we'll figure out what we need to do to keep it warm. Okay, so we'll put a shearing station. That's where we get the product. That's only 60 watts, and it's only used occasionally. Okay, and each drecko, I think, needs 2 mealwood plants to live on, and the glossies need 3. So in here, if we're going to hold... Yeah, so in here I think we can hold... We can probably grow enough to have 3 glossy dreckos. Okay, farm tiles have no decor penalty, so let's use those. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Alright, so that's all we need. And we'll plant those with mealwood. And then we just need to pipe in some hydrogen to fill the top level here. Fortunately, hydrogen floats, so if you just dump some hydrogen here in the space, it'll rise to the top, and because it can't get out, it'll stay in there. We've got plenty of mealwood seeds, so no problem there. And then I'm taking my wrangle tool and finding buried hatches. So we want to wrangle up all the hatches around the base that we can find to help speed that stuff up. Alright, I think it's only those 2 then. Yeah, so there's one buried there and one buried there. So when they come out, then the rancher can run over there and pick them up and bring them home. Okay, so this will be for the drecko. And drecklets as well. And then we just have to set the wrangle command, and we'll get him captured. And then I need to find some hydrogen. And maybe what I can do is I can just do that with an electrolyzer. There's some hydrogen up here, but this will be easier, and I'll get some oxygen out of it as well. Okay. So I'll put a liquid pipe right there. I'll put a liquid bridge on it. And this has the added benefit of giving us warmth. And that's because the oxygen and hydrogen that come out, last I checked, comes out at 70 degrees. I don't see that shown anywhere here, so I don't know if maybe that has changed. Maybe it just matches the input temperature or something. But hopefully that'll warm up the space a little bit as well and help these mealwood plants grow. Alright, so as soon as that gets power, it'll start turning water into oxygen and hydrogen. The hydrogen will rise out up to the top. The oxygen will push out to the rest of the base, and we'll be in good shape. Speaking of oxygen, we're doing fine. But my only source of oxygen right now are these two oxygen diffusers. Okay. Who's in charge of ranching? Ah. Alright, so I'm going to lower... No, I'll just set a high priority for ranching, in addition to farming. There, she's giving the eggs a hug. That gives them a little buff so they incubate faster. There we go. Now the drecko's trust and gets picked up and dropped off in the ranch. There we go. Now he's in his new home. Let's get that wire built. We can't reach it. Okay. Now we can. Alright, and now we have a hatch in our third hatch ranch. And we still have water on the floor. No more ice there, so hopefully we're safe. There is ice up here, however, so I'm gonna stick a tile right there, and that way when that stuff melts it won't drip into the base. It'll just fall down the other side. Okay, good. Whoops. Let's look at gases. Now we already have a lot of oxygen pressure, so that's going to take a little while. Okay, so speaking of gases, one more thing I'd like to do today before we finish is put in a carbon skimmer. This room is filling in with CO2 quite nicely. Do I really need a carbon skimmer? Maybe I don't really need one. It's draining out the bottom of the base so well that it might not be entirely necessary to have the skimmer. As long as I keep my oxygen pressure up inside the rest of the base. We do collect some down there, but I mean that's fine. Don't care about that. Yeah, we're getting very little hydrogen here, so the carbon skimmer will help bring the pressure down so that, well, here's what we can do. Let's automate The oxygen diffusers will work up to 18... Was it 1,800 grams of pressure, I think? Before it stops working because of overpressure. We could set that a little bit lower with some automation. Ooh, that's a bummer. I need more refined metal. On second thought, I don't think I want the sensor to be hanging out there. I also don't want it to be right above it because that's where the gas is coming out in the first place. So I'll put it on the inside so it's not in the middle of their whatever this is. Okay, now we got more copper ore. And we can put the Atmos sensor on that one too. Okay, so we'll go green if it's below 1,500 grams, let's say. Okay, and I'm only doing this so that I can relieve some pressure to allow this to run a little bit more, because I want the hydrogen. Because without the hydrogen, the scales don't grow. At least not as much. Okay, so carbon skimmer. This one's pretty easy. We put the carbon skimmer. Next to that, we put a sieve. That's going to clean the polluted water that comes out of it. And it is going to put the clean water right back into it. How can I get my hands on... Oh, I know where I can get polluted water. All right, so I'm going to, rather than building piping to get the polluted water here, I'm just going to put a little pump here. And let's see. How can I do this? Or I could give it fresh water. Yeah, I'll just give it clean water. Like that. Clean water in, it'll go into there. Easy peasy. And it won't take much. 1 or 2 bottles. Okay. And once I eat up some of the CO2, that'll relieve some of the pressure up here too. Again, to allow that electrolyzer to run, just so we can get, just till we get enough hydrogen, and then I can let the rest of this go bonkers. Okay. Now, the carbon skimmer, I want to work under 2 conditions. Okay, the first so I'm going to use an AND gate to turn this thing on and off. I'll put the AND gate right there. Okay, and the output of the AND gate goes into the machine. And then I'm going to have 2 sensors. One will be an Atmos sensor to detect the gas pressure. And the other is a gas element sensor to make sure that the gas that we're detecting is CO2 and not chlorine or something else. Because when we run it, if we run it when it's bathed in chlorine, it's not going to do anything. We'll just be wasting energy. Okay, so let's set this to bring in water. Auto bottle 7. Okay. Right, so carbon dioxide. And I'll set this to run if the pressure is above, let's say, 750 grams. Okay, and you can see both of those go green. That activates the AND gate, so the carbon skimmer is activated. As soon as it gets some water, it'll start doing its thing. And we only need to put water into this one time. And I no longer have a pump. I'm not sure how that got deleted. Well, I'm pretty sure I know how, but it was a mistake for that to be deleted. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. Okay, so temperature in the water pipe is now 18 degrees. And yet, it's not being recycled. Oh, because it's not going through the sensor. That's a minor oversight, isn't it? Alright, there we go. Clean water in, and that is all that we need. Okay, so the clean water goes in, it gets rid of some CO2, polluted water comes out, and it circulates back in. Alright, so now we can get rid of that, and we can get rid of all of that. And hopefully I didn't put too much in. If you give it too much water, then it can kind of block the flow. But it looks like it's okay. And that water will drip down and freeze. How convenient. No more messy water on the ground. Oh. Speaking of freezing. See, you can tell I'm not used to playing on this map. I think the water in my pipes is going to freeze. It is going to freeze. Yeah. So I think I definitely need to... Well, here's what we can do. I'll just delete all these pipes. I think if I can get it to where there's no extra water sitting in the pipes, then I should be safe. Polluted water has a freezing point of... No, not the vent, the water. Polluted water has a freezing point of -20, which is fine here. So I don't... If there's a way that I could make sure that the water is polluted until it needs to get used. I think I can do that. Well, Well, I'm going to let this go for a while. If it starts breaking, then we know it's because it's freezing. Yeah, I have a feeling that, yeah, this is going to run. What I need to do is make sure that this only runs when this pipe is empty. But then again, maybe if it just continues to flow, the machines make heat, maybe it'll be okay. Anyway, let's surround it with insulation just to keep it nice and warm. And we'll see how it goes. All right. No rancher. We'll take the nutrient bars. Oops. Let's see how we're doing on hydrogen. We're getting there. Making progress. Okay. I'm going to have to let this run a bit longer. The plants, well, 2 of the plants are growing. Let's look at temperatures over here. The temperature is not terribly impressive. So let's look at our plumbing. We can make a radiant pipe and run it through there. And by doing that, it should help to warm things up over there for the plants a little bit better. And as a matter of fact, let's not put it there. Let's put the radiant pipe above the plants themselves. Alright, well that's as far as I can go with it for now. Okay, and then I have to fix this. Right, because my temperature sensor is sensing liquid that doesn't exist. Because it's on the output stage. It's got to be over here. Or right there. Yeah, I can put it there. Can't put it there. Alright. Not enough materials. Now I have enough materials. Don't I? I just deconstructed one. Okay. Need a little bit more refined metal. Okay, and we were doing below 25, right? Okay, yeah, now it's on. Uh-oh. Ay, ay, ay. Hurry up and get out of there. Just in case. Okay. That's better. More water to mop up. Can I make automation wire now? Yeah, there we go. Okay. Great. Okay, now the mealwood can grow. Let's get all that swept up. Okay, so you can see that the radiant pipe, well, it radiates more, so that's good. It'll make it warmer in there. We're doing pretty good over here. Our numbers are steadily increasing. That's fabulous. Okay, almost got the hydrogen filled up in there. And then once that's done, I can get rid of the electrolyzer and plant more mealwood in there. And hopefully hopefully this drecko will lay an egg or two. He's still fairly young, so. Not tame yet. So we'll have to wait a little bit more time. I think this, well, I'm not sure. Maybe the scales will grow faster when it's tame. Okay, so we're dumping water now because we need to get the temperature back up. But the water coming out, 24 degrees. The water in the tank is 34. Because this thing is full, it's going to take a while before the temperature equalizes again. And I wish these were like these bins where you could set the maximum capacity, so you could set it lower. I guess there's not much we can do about it. We could dump some out, but then it's going to be less water coming out, and I want to make sure that I want these pipes to stay full. Now I could delete the reservoir and then rebuild it, but I think all the water inside it would disappear if I did that. I'll just let it go. It'll warm up eventually, and now that this is fixed, hopefully it won't really be an issue anymore. Okay. We've got a decent amount of hydrogen up here. No, I'll let it go more. I think the oxygen coming out of here is preventing this from distributing itself more evenly. But I'd like to build up some more pressure first. So I'll let it go a little bit longer, and then I'll get rid of the electrolyzer. Okay. And then our water tank is starting to run low, so I think we'll want to break into this and start getting some of that hot water from down here. Yeah, that polluted water vent, maybe I'm not going to use it just because of the germs. If we need to, that's another source of water, but I'm going to save that for a rainy day. In fact, I'm going to lock the door so nobody goes in there and gets infected. Okay, well, that's going to do it for today. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. See you next time. Bye-bye.